call me Dong Hee Kim. I was born in 1945 on October the 23rd in Seoul, Korea. My father had a very, very good job to earn money for our family and to support us for an education. This is when I was 6 years old, even younger than you. It was a very, very long time ago. The war 625 had broken out in Korea. Before the war 625 had declared, the night before, at dawn, the broadcasting stations were at chaos. They were talking to all the South in Korea about the war. The war had started. So the next day, my father was taken away by the North Army. So my mom, me, my 3-year-old little brother, and my grandma packed bundles of rice, blankets, and clothes, and precious things for the family. And we started walking to Icheon. It was 170 kilometers. No transportation. We had to walk. And without knowing it, I soon became a refugee. On the way to Icheon, I cried a lot. It hurted. I mean, my feet got blisters. It was just tragic for me. I was just 6 years old. My life as a refugee was very, very poor. I often had to starve, and sometimes I had to sleep with strangers. So when I arrived in Icheon, there was not enough supplies, and everyone had been refugees from Upper Korea. They had come down to Icheon, and they had refuged here. So in one house, there had to be 20 people living together. Isn't that amazing? Well, for me, it wasn't strangers. It was actually my relatives. So I was kind of lucky then. So the reason why our family decided to move to Icheon and not other countries in the bottom of Korea, South Korea, was because it was my father's hometown. Because my father was taken away by the North Army, our family thought he would come back to find us in his hometown. So that was about my life as a refugee. But here's more about my childhood and how tragic it was. It was very, very sad, of course. And I grew up without a father. My mom had to sell food and stuff to support my family, like my brother and me, to go to school. So when the war ended, I was about 8 years old and turning up 9. So when the war ended, my mom had to open a business, and we got education and we got a house. So let me tell you more about the war. The war continued for 3 years, and the North believed in communism, and the South believed in democracy. The North wanted to convince the South to believe in communism. So that's why, and we refused, of course. So that's why they came fighting to us. And basically, the Chinese army helped the North fight South, and the UN military and the American soldiers helped the South fight the North. But the war was just killing people. It wasn't that helpful. It wasn't coming to a decision. So that's what the Chinese and the American and the UN decided to do. They negotiated. They talked about the war ending. So that's what they came up, the 3-8 line. The 3-8 line is the border from North Korea and South Korea. That's what splits the country into halves. So due to this war, a lot of people were orphans, a lot of kids. They, well, some of them, for them, I bet they had a very hard life. They lost their parents by the North killing them. Some lost their parents by their parents taken away from the North Army. So that was very, very sad for them. Some people got separated families. For example, if I had a brother and my mom and my dad, me and my mom would go to the south and my dad and my brother would go to the north. And the line just got through. And from then we can't see each other again. So that's what created a lot of separated families in the war. So it was a very, very tragic war for Korea, and it was a very, very sad thing for Korea. So, and the Korean citizens. So that's what the war is all about. Thank you for listening.